Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to talk to you about the play Glass Menagerie, written by Tennessee Williams. Now, this play is supposed to be a memory play in which all the characters, try to show how, or rather, they try to overcome from their past, the regrets of the past. And this play, Glass Menagerie, is a very, very important play. Why? Because it is, in a way, reflects the trauma of the psychic trauma of each of the characters. Now, Tom Wingfield, is the main character of this play, and he is there as a narrator, Tom the character, and Tom the narrator, because the whole story of the play is narrated by Tom Wingfield. And this is supposed to be an autobiographical play because it represents, the characters tends to represent the family of Williams. Now, Williams' father, he was a great drunkard. He was, in fact, a person who was uh, tormenting the lives of the people and did not want to pay any heed to the family life and made promises which he did not keep. Mother was hysterical, and William also was not given proper care. In fact, right from the beginning, Williams had an interest in writing. And when he was young, he wrote an essay. The essay was, Can a Good Wife Be a Good Sport? And for writing this essay, he had won a prize of $5. And he wanted to continue to write, but his father, he asked him to do a job in a shoe factory, which he detested, which he hated. And by the age of 24, in fact, Williams had gone into a state of depression. He had a very great nervous breakdown, but later on he recovered and he studied in Washington University in St. Louis and also in the University of Iowa. And Williams' real name was Thomas Tom, and Tennessee comes. I mean, the Tennessee is the estate which he has used in this particular play, which shows the background of, or rather, shows the living conditions of the family. Now, when this play was written, it also represents the state of America in the from the period of 1929 to 1932. That was a period of great depression in America, when there was economic paucity, or people were not able to, they had a great desire to live a very happy life, have a happy family life also. But due to the economic strains and due to the economic disaster in the country, they were not able to meet up to their dreams or to their idea of having a happy family life. And it's talking, Tennessee is a state in the south, and that was a state where a lot of plantation used to take place, the southern region, where the plantation and a plantation of cotton growing area, it was a cotton growing area, and a lot of planters were supposed to grow cotton and reap, harvest, and after the manufacturing of the cotton, they were supposed to reap good results. But due to that period of 1929 to 1932, which was known as the period of Great Depression, and because of the economic paucity and depression, naturally, people were not able to keep up to their standard of living. So this had a great impact also on the life of Williams. And there are four main characters in the play. Tom, who's the main character, the chief character, who comes as a character and a narrator. Amanda, who's the mother. Laura, who's the sister of Tom. And Jim O'Connor, who is supposed to be the friend of Laura, and who comes as a wooer and as a prospective husband of Laura. But finally, what happens, I will tell you. He had been a friend of Laura during the school time, during the high school period. So the play opens with the entrance of Tom through the fire escape. Now, what is the meaning of a fire escape? Fire escape is supposed to the stairs. That is, if the house catches fire, then there is a means of going down through those stairs into the basement so that you can escape from the danger of the fire. So this fire escape is also used as a symbol in the play because it shows the beginning, the entrance of the character, and also it provides as a means of an escape from the real life of the or rather the situations of the house, and entering into escaping into their own cell. Now, Tom, the character, the main, the chief protagonist of the play, why it is known as a memory play, because he is talking about the memory of his mother. I mean, what all happened in the life of mother, and what all happened with Laura. Now, Laura is also referred to as a blue rose because you see why? Because Laura was suffering from pleurosis. She had a defect in the leg, and in during her young time, she had also undergone a frontal lobotomy. But and Tom regrets that he was not able to take proper care of her, and because of his attachment to Laura, he really feels himself, or rather finds himself, tied down to the family. Otherwise, he wants to escape from his life and enter into the world of his own creativity. He was fond of writing poems, and he wanted to create a world of his own, live into his own world, and does not want to bear the economic burden of the family. And Amanda, the mother, she pesters. I mean, she feels annoyed with Tom in the sense because she feels that being the man of the house, the only wage earner, Tom is the only wage earner, and being the economic supporter of the family, he should sacrifice his own personal interest for the sake of the family, and should look into the interest of this sister also. Whereas Amanda, she is living why she is living in her past, because the mother of Williams, the actual mother of Williams, also was regarded as a southern belle of the Blue Mountains. I mean, she was regarded herself as a beautiful lady. And here Amanda, the character who acts as the mother of Tom, also thinks herself as a belle of the Blue Mountains of the, I mean, and all the time, she's going back into her past, and she says, well, I had so many wooers. She wanted to marry a rich planter, and she wanted to have a very good house, and she wanted to float in wealth, in richness, and lead a very good life. But the husband turned her marriage turned a disaster, because the husband left. He was a great drunkard, he was a tyrannical person, and he left the house, and leaving only a postcard which said hello and goodbye. In that postcard, it was written hello and goodbye. That's all that was written. And in fact, he refrained from the responsibilities that he needed, or that he should have shouldered, regarding his particular family. But he left the family in lurch, and now all the responsibility was there on their hands, in the hands of Tom. Now, Laura, of course, she, because she is a crippled person, and although she does not show, she is a beautiful, fragile girl, and she lives in her own world. And in the beginning, we are introduced to her because Amanda says, well, Laura was asked to join a business college, but and she was supposed to be very good at typewriting. But when she entered the school, after a few days, she left the school because she could not meet up the speed of the typewriter. And in fact, when she entered into that college, that business school life, when she had to appear for the test, she immediately vomited. I mean, she was so much traumatized with the part of doing a job, that she refrained from going to the business school, and used to loiter around, spend her time in a zoo or a park, and remained confined to her own self. Now, how she wants to live, she is a fragile girl and wants to live into a world of illusion, and her world of illusion are the glass figurines. Glass menagerie क्यों कहा है? Because glass figurines, these are the glass figures animals. शीशे के बने हुए छोटे छोटे एनिमल्स हैं of different shape. They are multifaceted animals, and these multifaceted glass figurines that are shown with Laura also tends to show the multifaceted lives of these characters that are there in the play. Now, Laura wants to live into her own illusion world. She's confined in looking after those glass figures. She's very conscious, and she's particularly fond of a unicorn. Unicorn is that particular glass horse which symbolizes a lot of things in this particular play, because unicorn is supposed to be unique. Unicorn is supposed to be an imaginative figure. Why? Because actual there are no unicorns, and unicorns, even though they are unique, they are also of great birth. So the figure of Laura is, in a way, symbolized with that unicorn, because even though she might be physically handicapped and physically crippled, but yet at the same time, she is beautiful. She has a sense of worth within her own self, and but like the unicorn, she is very fragile also, and she spends her time all the time playing with those glass figurines. And another escapist tendency in Laura was that if she wanted to escape from the reality of the world, she always played the music, listening to the music at Victoria. So, Vitorola. So, I mean, this was a favorite pastime. And Amanda, she was living in her past. The mother used to live in the past, and in order to meet up the economic conditions of the family, she tried to raise the money by selling subscriptions for a woman's magazine, glamorous magazines. She tried to raise money, and all the time, she's reverting back that how when I was young, then I was beautiful. I was regarded the southern belle of the place, and I had so many viewers, and these wooers who used to woo the females, जो लोग मतलब कहना चाहिए एक तरह से were trying to fall in love with her. I mean, she pretends, or rather she admits, that people all the time, gentleman caller उसे कहा गया है, the lovers or the wooers are referred to as gentleman callers. She said, I had number of gentleman callers who used to come and woo me. मतलब people because of my beauty tend to fall for me. Only I refrained and married your father and your father. और father का कहीं कोई image नहीं है house में, कहीं कोई figure representation of the father is not there in the house. Only a picture, a blank face of the father is hanging in the on the wall. And the southern area where they were living, the conditions on the place was supposed to be the lower shabby conditions. Everything was very disheveled and everything was lopsided. I mean, the house also, the condition of the house is also does not show any sophistication, any richness in the family. And Tom is supposed to be the only wage earner who is trying to meet up with the expenses of the family, but he hates it. And what was the and how Tom wanted to evade the reality and live in his own world of illusion was that he took to drinking as well as smoking. And in the evening he used to go out to watch movies. He always used to go out to watch movies and spend time in the outside the house, or either he is there working in the warehouse, the shoe warehouse, where he used to sit and write poems in the shoe boxes. So, in order to, I mean, spend time more on his creativity, he was interested in that. But Amanda, the mother, she, chides both Tom and Amanda, the mother. They have a very great argument with each other regarding this. She all the time tells Tom that you are negligent and that you are not taking proper care of Laura, and neither you are meeting up to with the economic condition of the family. So Tom also gets very annoyed, and he abuses the mother. He abuses the mother, but after and he gets so angry that in his anger he breaks a few glass figurines of Laura. And later on, of course, he regrets because he feels he has a special attachment for his sister, and because of this attachment, he is tied down. He feels himself tied down with the family. And when the mother chides and scolds Tom for breaking those glass figurines, and at the same time chiding him for not taking care of not feeling responsible for Laura, because Laura, who was supposed to lead a social life or enter into a social world by joining the business school, she has refrained from doing so, and that shows a type of a social unrest that is there in their lives. I mean, she wants to refrain from communicating with others. She does not want to socialize. She doesn't want to communicate with the public. So when Amanda chides Tom for not taking care of Laura, immediately, Tom, after a few, for a moment, he goes out of the house, and then again he comes back and tells the mother that, well, we have a caller in the evening. My friend will come, and he might be the prospective wooer of Laura. So when Laura comes to know that who is this main caller, when she realizes that Jim O'Connor is coming to meet her, suddenly, she reverts back, goes back into her past, because she at once recognizes that Jim O'Connor is none other but her high school friend. Both of them, I mean, she had a crush for him. And as soon as she comes to know that Jim is coming, and there's a knock on the door, Amanda asks Laura to go and open the door, but Laura refrains, refuses, because she has a terror in meeting Jim. And this terror is, what is this terror? This is the inner terror, the psychic terror, because she does not want to confront the reality. She does not want to confront the reality of meeting Jim face to face, because immediately, she feels, or she recalls, that if I meet Jim, then I will be remembering my past. And I don't know whether Jim will be able to recollect me or include me now as a friend. But of course, Amanda, pushes her in going and opening the door and making Jim enter. So finally, I mean, a person who is psychically withdrawn within her own self, and wants into, and why she does not want to, no, her refusal for not opening the door is also shows that she wants to refrain from the truth of the reality. She does not want to spoil the illusory world, the fantasy world, her imagination that is there. So, truth and reality, do not represent the real world. They are not an organic thing that represent the situation as such. So Jim, who enters the house, Tom introduces him that he is supposed to be the high school hero. He had been the captain of the sports team, and he has been the star of the glee club, etc. But in the beginning, that is in his school life, also he was supposed to be the hero of the time. But now, after 6 years, you can say, he is doing nothing. In fact, he himself is a clerk in a shoe warehouse. So when Jim enters the house, of course, immediately Laura is reminded of her school days and of her convent life, when Jim had a crush for her. And when Jim looks at Laura, of course, he remembers her, and she reminds Jim that you used to call me Blue Roses. Now, this blue roses also is a symbol, because it gives a very vivid collection of, you can say, Jim's love or crush for Laura. Because what does blue rose तो होता नहीं है, लेकिन blue rose symbolize करता है कि ये show करता है कि you are something really worthwhile, you are something different, you are unique, and you are beautiful. So he used to call her Blue Roses. So मतलब कि in the sense कि Jim had a crush. He still, when Laura reminds Jim that you used to call me Blue Rose, he admits yes. And he still tells her that you are still good looking, still beautiful, and still different and unique from the others. And he, in fact, tells her that he was supposed to get engaged to one of his friends. uh, in the school, but that engagement was broken. So, and when Jim is talking or referring to her as blue roses, he tells, well, see, she reminds him and tells him, see, I used to walk down the aisles with my crippled foot. But Jim says, well, you did so, but I did not see you. Nobody could make out that you are crippled with your leg or that you are not able to walk straight. So, I mean, he again shows his interest in Laura, but and Laura, for a moment when he and she shows him his her glass figurines, those glass figures, and especially gives him that unicorn. And while he holds the unicorn, it immediately falls from his hand, and the horn, one of the horns of the unicorn, is broken. She picks it up and again gives it to him. And this breaking of that horn of the unicorn shows a little, brings a little disillusionment in the life of Laura. But of course, that is not the disaster, the end. It is not the disaster or the end for her, because later on what happens that Jim says, when it infuses a hope in the mind of Laura that probably Jim will again ask her to marry him. But she is disappointed in that, because when the time comes for him to leave, he says, I am already engaged to Betty and I will not be able to marry you. So the mother Amanda, when Jim enters the house, she also wants to show herself in her best garb. So she dresses up in a gown, which is in a girlish gown, and that lopsided gown, it doesn't suit her in a way. But at the same time, she's trying to show her accent, that southern accent also, and she's trying to behave as if she's a young girl and attractive. But at the same time, when Jim admits that he is engaged to Betty and he will not be able to marry Laura, this gives a blow to the mother also, because up till now the mother was having hopes that Laura will be able to marry, or Laura will also have a gentleman caller. Again, now Jim is introduced as a gentleman caller. Gentleman caller कौन हुआ कि a person who's trying to woo a girl. So, and she associates Jim with her gentleman callers who had come to woo her when she was young. And so that is why, she dresses up young in order to show, to present herself in front of Jim as if she is also very young and good looking. And like her, Laura is also an attractive person. But at Jim, when he refuses and when he says that he's engaged to, and he also tells that he's also not satisfied with his job in a warehouse. In fact, he wants to become a television producer. And he lives in the world of reality. He's not a person who is refraining from reality. He is practical and wants to admit, like Tom, on the other hand, does not want to live in the world of reality. He wants to refrain from the responsibilities of the house. He wants to run away. He wants to leave the house. He wants to shirk the responsibilities of the house, and that is a disaster for Amanda. And when Jim comes, the lights are put out. I mean, the lights go out. And when the lights go out, again, Amanda, when she says that, well, why the lights have gone out, she finds that Tom has been negligent and he has not paid the electricity bill, and that is why the lights are out. So she lights the candles. And in that candlelight, of course, when Jim professes about or talks about Laura's beauty and Laura's worth, again professing and calling her as a blue rose, they both start dancing. And while they are dancing with each other, this unicorn was broken accidentally by Jim. So when they were dancing, then Laura was infused with a hope that probably Jim still loves her. But later on, when he confesses that Well, he is already engaged to Betty and he wants to be a television producer. Her hopes are shattered. And in the end, she blows out the candles of the candles, and that blowing out the candle shows is significant in order to show that how she has blown the lights out of her life. And again, she draws back into her world of illusion, into her fragile world, living with the figurines, with those glass figurines who are not realistic in life, who make you live in a world of imagination. And Tom also moves out of the house through the fire escape, in fact trying to show that he also wants to shirk the responsibilities of the house, and it is only the love of Laura which makes him bring back. So the themes in this, you can see the characters, that these four characters, how their economic condition is not good, how the presence of the father is not there, and because of the absence of the father, because he had been a tyrannical ruler in the house, in fact he did nothing, and he left the house without shouldering the responsibilities, also acts as a burden in the life of Tom, who is trying to keep up with the family members, trying to meet the wishes of the mother and the sister, though he finds himself incapable with his job. And he, in fact, wants to become the member of the, or a member of the Union of the Merchant Seamen. He wants to become that, and he wants to indulge in poetry writing because he had a creative mind. In fact, Jim O'Connor once refers to him as the Shakespeare of those times, meaning to say that who is interested in writing poems. But and Amanda, on the other hand, is has her own vision of the world and appears ridiculous and shabby when she comes dressed up in a girlish gown. But she wants to live in this world of illusion, that she is still beautiful and that she still has the gentleman callers with her. But and once this Tom, gives a reference to a person, how talks about a magic trick. When he's talking to Laura, he talks about a magic trick of how a person was nailed into a coffin, and how that person came out of the coffin without disturbing and without opening the nails. So this magic trick of a person being nailed in a coffin and then coming out of it also reflects that how he is caged in, मतलब कैसे वो खुद caged in है, टॉम कैसे caged in है इस कॉफिन में. और कॉफिन क्या है? दिस प्रेजेंट वर्ल्ड ऑफ द फैमिली. और कैसे वो उसमें से बाहर निकलना चाहता है. So the Jim के साथ जब when Laura is talking, then the reference is also she is referring to the music, because she is all the time refraining from reality by going into the world of glass figures or into the music world. And a reference is also made to the yearbook known as the torch. Now torch जो है, torch is not the torch जो light show करता है, but torch यहाँ पे use हुआ है as a slang or an abuse for the people who have an old crush or romance for the person. So Laura, seems to have vague hopes when Jim says that उसको एक hope होने लगती है, वो भी एक like a torch हो गया. Jim is becomes like a torch, a crush or a romance for her जब वो कहता है कि my engagement with the friend was broken. सो उसके अंदर एक ये illusory hope पैदा होती है that probably Jim will still have feelings for her. But later on वो feelings भी खत्म हो जाती हैं when he says that I am engaged. So ये the themes जो हैं इसमें, themes are abandonment, disillusionment and living in the past. सो abandonment का ये मतलब नहीं है कि यू आर abandoning द पीपल. लिविंग क्रीचर्स को नहीं abandon कर रहे हो. You are not leaving the living creatures. That is, Tom does not want to leave the mother, or he wants to leave the sister, or Laura wants to leave the family, or Amanda wants to leave her two children. बट इसमें अबैंडनमेंट का मतलब है कि यू आर ट्राइंग टू अबैंडन द रियलिटी, मतलब तुम सच्चाई के साथ नहीं जीना चाहते हो, यू डू नॉट वांट टू लिव इनटू द वर्ल्ड ऑफ रियलिटी। और डिसइल्यूजनमेंट क्या है? डिसइल्यूजनमेंट और अबैंडनमेंट दोनों ही एक तरह से दे आर कंजुगेट, लिविंग इन कंजुगेशन विथ ईच अदर, because with disillusion means that you are abandoning your world of reality. So abandonment and disillusion is going hand in hand. और disillusion क्यों है? Because each character is living in the world of illusion. Tom is living in the world of his own illusion that I will be able to go out of the house. In fact, might become the member of the union of the merchant seamen. In fact, I may be able to rise up with writing my manuscripts of poems, and I don't have to look after the house or look after or continuously pay the electric bills and the other bills of the family. And Amanda, the mother, is also living in a world of illusion. She feels that despite the absence of the father in the house or the husband in the house, at least Tom will be there with her all the time in order to show to keep up the economic conditions of the family, and to be a caretaker and act as a responsible family member. And at the same time, she's also living in the hope that Laura, even though she refrained from joining the business school, one day she will get a gentleman caller, a proper person who will woo her, and she will settle down. And Laura, of course, is all the time that fragile creature who is living in her own world of imagination, you can say, her own illusory world. With she's fragile, she's weak, she's timid, though she is worthy in her own self, but because she does not want to face the reality of by suffering from pleurosis, she is wanting to live in her world of glass animals. So, what is the significance of the title, The Glass Menagerie? Now, Menagerie kya hai? Menagerie is an exhibition of wild animals, and these wild animals that are put together. He says, इसमें जैसे कि जितने भी wild animals हमने क्या दिया, multifaceted animals, and they tend to represent the multifaceted personalities of the different characters also. And how Amanda, she says that she tells Tom that how you are jeoparding, that is how you are putting in peril, in danger, the life of the family by absconding, by trying to run away, by trying to escape through the fire escape, that is by leaving the house and drowning yourself in drinks and smoking, and by watching movies constantly. In a way, you are trying to shirk the responsibilities. So you are living in a world of managerial world, is glass menagerie, is the illusory world, a world of deception. So the play is not a realistic play, the play is a memory play, because एक दो themes हुई, abandonment and disillusionment, और तीसरी है living in the past. So everybody is living in the past. एंड मेमोरी प्ले किस लिए कहा गया? बिकॉज टॉम जो है, ही इज लिविंग बाय द मेमोरी of the two characters, how he through his memory he is trying to recollect and give an account of the two characters, that is the mother as well as the sister. So it play is more impressionistic and expressionistic in a way, you can say, because it proposes or purposes to bring the reader to the reality, to make the reader face the reality, or make it come closer to reality. Realistic नहीं है, पर memory, through the memory, through a world of deception, through the world of illusion, how the playwright is trying to bring people, the purpose is to bring the people to the world of reality. So that is more important, and that is why इसको glass menagerie कहा गया है, because the figures that are there, they are only in a form of a glass, represented as glass. They are not the real, they are imaginative. So that is what, and the four characters, they are all, undergoing mental suffering, mental suffering because of the background, because of, and the अमेरिका में वही हमने बताया जो ग्रेट डिप्रेशन था, the times of America also tend to represent the times of the characters in sex. That is the trauma that America had to face at that time because of that great depression, because of the economic conditions, the bad economic conditions in the I mean उस समय जब ये डिप्रेशन चल रहा था तो स्पेन और यूरोप में was the age of revolution. मतलब revolution हो रहा था how to come out of that great depression. But अमेरिका में rather than giving it a state of revolution, it was more a state of confusion, because people were not able to fend for their own selves, or rather create a happy life for their own selves. There were many planters, there were labor work was going on, laborers were there, labor plantation was very much prevalent at that time, and people were trying to, through the work of plantation, they were trying to uplift their economic standards of living. But America had to undergo a lot of problem at that time. So this is the meaning of the glass menagerie, that is coming out of that world of illusion and facing the reality. So fire, escape, and blue roses, unicorn, and gentleman collar, they are all the four symbols which tend to represent different things at different time. Thank you.